A photojournalist was able to capture images of the shooting, which he took from only some 50 meters away. With us here in the studio to share his story through his photos is photojournalist Jimmy Domingo. Mr. Domingo also teaches at the Asian Center for Journalism at the Ateneo de Manila University. Good afternoon, Jimmy. Thank you for joining us. Well, first of all, what brought you to the, or what drew you to the Hacienda Velez Malaga story?
My documentary as a photojournalist has been always rural development. So I've been following up the story of Hacienda Velez Malaga since last year, and I made several trips there already. And then last Sunday, they told me that the farmers are going to occupy the 5-hectare land that was awarded to them last March 22. And then so I got my ticket, my plane ticket, and I took the last flight to Bacolod. But I spent the night in Bacolod and then went to the hacienda the next morning.
Okay.
And then I arrived there at the area by 8 o'clock in the morning, and then I talked to the farmers. They were then preparing the materials that they're going to use for they call it the land occupation, although it's their land already. So I was just taking pictures of them preparing for the land occupation that they call.
But Twink, and also Jimmy, with your indulgence, at the beginning when we were leading to the introduction to you, we were showing some footage of a commotion that was happening on Hacienda Velez Malaga before we get any other calls from the legal counsel of Task Force Mapalad. Just to clarify, that footage was the commotion that broke out on the day that the farmers were installed on March 22nd and not the day of June 4th, right?
Yes, I think so, because during the shooting incident last Monday...
There were no TV crews around.
Yes, I think I was the only journalist who was there.
All right, now well, we just showed some of those photos.
Those photos were yours? Were those photos that you took, Jimmy, the stills that we showed just a few moments ago?
Okay. Still photos.
All right, we're showing them.
Photographs. Yes.
All right, where were you actually, how far were you from where this was taking place?
Yes, I was about 50 to 60 meters from the shooting. Because at first, when the security guards started shooting, I was about 100 meters away. But I was trying to inch closer because the farmers were very, very near the security guards. And then the shooting started at about 10 o'clock in the morning, according to the timestamp of my digital camera.
Yes.
And then it lasted for about 10 minutes. But in between, I saw that there was a wounded farmer already.
Yes.
This is the aftermath already. One of the members, these are the two victims.
Now, Jimmy, I noticed that most of the time your pictures have focused on the casualties among the farmers, but we haven't seen any of the security guards who did the shooting.
Do you have any photos of the security guards? Because they could be potentially helpful as far as being able, yes, to...
Yes, I think in the earlier photographs, I think I have about 4 or 6 frames that you can see clearly that the security guards were aiming their guns at the farmers. But I could not try to go nearer because they were shooting, I think, at random.
And who are these? These are the Regional Mobile Group people who arrived?
I think so. They are the police and the military. They arrived more than 1 hour and a half after there were 2 victims already.
Although at the time, I think the instructions to the Regional Mobile Group were also to provide some form of security for the farmer beneficiaries.
That was what I was told also.
Well, actually, I believe that before they even attempted to go or to occupy the land, nagpaalam sila was what I was what I was told. Is that something you can verify? They actually told the police that they intended to do this, and the police said, "Go ahead, we'll watch your backs."
Yun din yung sabi sa akin ng mga magsasaka. Nung tinanong ko sila nung umaga, sabi ko, kumusta yung reaction ng mga police forces na nandito? And then they said, sinabihan namin sila, nagpaalam kami na papasok kami bukas. That's what they told me.
Okay. Now, you said that you'd been following the story for over a year.
Yes.
So perhaps you can add some of the details with regard to why does the police seem uncooperative as far as doing their job, which is to protect the farmers?
Actually, I don't know. I can't say anything on that. But I noticed when the security guards started shooting, I went in between where the police are stationed and the security guards shooting at the farmers.
Yeah.
And then I was looking at my back if there will be some actions from the side of the police.
Yeah.
But during the 10 minutes of time that the security guards were firing their guns at the farmers, there was no movement from the army. I didn't notice anything.
So no action at all to intervene, at least to protect the farmers.
Yes, I didn't see anything.
Jimmy, here's one point that I think you can also help clear up. The initial reaction of, I think, the Cornerstone Security Agency, if that's what it's called, the security guards were from the Cornerstone Security Agency. Their initial reaction to the shooting incident was to justify it, saying that the farmers were going to attack them with bladed instruments, I guess primarily the sites that they were going to use to cut down the sugarcane. Did you see any hostile act from the farmers before the shooting began?
I didn't see anything.
No.
Because I was on the side of the farmers.
Yes.
And then before their plan, I think they told me that their plan is to go to the land, the land that was awarded to them. And then they put some kind of bamboo fences, and then they set up a tent in the middle of the field. That's what they told me. Of course, you can see in the photographs that they have slingshots, and some of the farmers have slingshots. Yes.
Okay.
You can see it clearly in the photographs.
Right.
And then
And what did they intend to use these slingshots for?
they told me that they're going to use it for defense in case somebody attacks them.
So they were anticipating that somebody would try to forcibly evict them from the 5-hectare property.
That's what they told me, because if you know the history of this hacienda, it's been violent ever since.
For 11 years. now.
Yes, when the farmer beneficiaries starts to cultivate.
First of all, Jimmy, can you try to describe what we're seeing now on the screen? Okay, what was happening here in these pictures?
Yes, these are the farmers are in the foreground.
These are the
They're
slingshots,
the slingshots,
right?
yes. In the previous photograph, the farmers are in the foreground, and the blue guards are somewhere
In the tree line.
In the tree line, yes, because I think there were 3 security guards in the tree line, and then I could hear gunshots intermittently. So maybe they were firing not at the same time.
So now the farmers are facing towards the trees, and the security guards are positioned near the trees.
Yes, that's
All right.
right.
What were
Under
the
trees.
farmers doing at this point? Were they trying to attack the security guards? Were they running towards the security guards?
Yeah, I heard at this point I heard that they were telling the security guard something like stop,
To stop
or
firing.
stop, because the farmers were there. They started to clear the land because they said that the planted sugar cane are already illegal.
Illegal. Pero nung nagkabarilan, Jimmy, all right, we see some the
that's
silhouettes
yes.
of men with long arms. Presumably
That's a
these are the
shotgun,
security
yes.
guards.
Yes.
And why aren't the farmers even trying to take cover, at least dropping to the ground so as not to be an open target?
Every now and then, actually, they drop, and I do too.
Yeah.
But they stand once a shot is fired.
Okay. So once the firing stops, they stand up again.
Yes, and then they sit again.
And where were the police at this time? You're not
On
visible.
the other side, at my back.
So they were actually watching the shooting while it was going on.
I think so.
They could have seen it, and there is just no explanation for why it would take 1 hour to
For them to
respond.
respond.
Yes.
All
So
right.
yeah, the 3 security guards are clearly seen in the photographs.
And all right, those are the dark figures near the
Yes,
trees. You didn't get a chance to get a closer shot of the faces of these 3 security guards.
I tried, but I was scared too.
All right, the kind of equipment or lenses that you had
Yes, I
did not
only-
allow you to get a
Yeah,
closer shot.
I only had a short lens because I didn't expect
violence to
violence to happen. And usually I shoot with short lenses.
But you did say that you are familiar with the violent history of this Hacienda Velez Malaga story. So why would you not have anticipated that this could have erupted into some bloodshed?
Well, I was not prepared for that, but I knew that something could happen, but because of the presence of the police and I think from the army that they are supposed to provide peace and order in the area, So I downplayed the scenario of violence when I went there. All I wanted to do was to document the farmers occupying the land that is already awarded to them.
Okay, Jimmy, obviously a police investigation is going on. The manhunt for the 3 security guards who fired still continuing. Have you received an invitation from PNP in Negros to submit witness testimony?
Not yet. I hope they won't invite me because
Why not?
I just have to show my photographs.
You hope they don't invite
Don't
you?
invite me, yes.
So, I mean, in fact, the farmers themselves might expect you to provide some kind of testimony to back up their claims that they were attacked and not the other way around.
I think I will only have to show my photographs to them.
What is your objection to perhaps testifying, Jimmy?
I don't know, but I know that I am a journalist and I do my job as a journalist.
But as journalists, we're also sometimes called on by the courts to provide some kind of material evidence, somehow through videotapes, audio recordings, and now through your photos.
Yes, that's what I said. I'll share my photographs.
But you don't want to provide, say, a written testimony, like a sworn affidavit.
I'll think it over.
The land dispute in Hacienda Velez, Malaga has been highly controversial and bloody, but how have other cases of land distribution fared in recent years? Joining us on the line from Bago City, Negros Occidental, is a member of the Presidential Agrarian Reform Council, Basilio Bob Propongo. He's also Secretary General of the Negros Occidental Federation of Farmers Association, or NOFA. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon kay Tony at sa lahat na nakikinig ngayon. Magandang hapon sa lahat.
So, sir, would you say that this latest incident sa Hacienda Velez, Malaga, pretty much sums up all the other agrarian reform attempts in your area?
Ito kasi ang Hacienda Velez, Malaga. Ito lang pinaka-contentious na landholding, ano? Negros Occidental. Kung ito yung nangyari, kasi sa simula pa lang medyo kinukwestiyon na ng nangyari ni Mr. Cuenca yung batas mismo, yung Carl, no? So doon pa lang, hindi pa doon sa ayaw niya doon sa proseso, kundi yung batas mismo, yung pag-cover sa lupa niya, kinukwestiyon na. So, yung doon nagsimula eh.
Pero, yes, but I guess, while we cannot take away from Mr. Cuenca his right to question this, he has had the opportunity to, and he's been struck down by the courts repeatedly. So, bakit niya pinupursige?
May mga ilang bagay posible na hindi pa mailinaw. Halimbawa, yung may nakabimbing pa na unresolved case sa Supreme Court, at yung mga iba pang mga proseso, halimbawa segregation survey, marami pang dapat ayusin, no? Na dapat ginagawa ng DAR at ng iba pang organisasyon o NGO na tumutulong dyan sa farmer beneficiary na ayusin ng mabilisan at mapayapang paraan.
So, Mr. Propongo, sinasabi mo na wala pa rin karapatan na i-install yung mga farmers sa land na na-award sa kanila?
So, hindi dapat matagal na dapat na na-install sila dahil may kluwa sila. Nakaantala lang doon sa mga nire-raise na question, may mga inclusion na issue, may question kasi yung mga beneficiary doon sa side ni Mr. Cuenca na dapat hindi lahat ng mga member ng Task Force Mapalad ay kasama doon sa kluwa dahil hindi naman sila dapat mga beneficiary. At binabanggit naman nila sa kabila, dapat sila ay kasama din sa kluwa dahil sila ay mga regular farmer resident. So yun yung mga issue na dapat hindi pa mabagal na pagresolba. Na sa tingin ko kung mabilisan lang ang pag-resolve ng Department of Agrarian Reform at yung pinaan muna sa mapayapang paraan, may karapatan naman talaga yung mga beneficiary na dapat ma-install sa lupa, pero yung question na hindi bona fide
Yung membership po.
Yung i-resolve agad.
Opo. Mr. Propongo, itong nakaraang linggo, nagsalita na rin si Presidential Advisor for Western Visayas, si Secretary Lito Coscoluela. At ang inaamin niya na tila nahihirapan siya na mamagitan dun sa mga grupo nila Mr. Cuenca at dun sa mga task force mapalad members. Dahil nga malinaw na yung sinasabi ng Department of Agrarian Reform na inaward na yung lupa dun sa mga task force mapalad farmers. Pero tila hindi na pinapansin ni Mr. Cuenca yung mga iniutos na ng korte sa kanya.
Oo, kasi nung nakaraang February yata, na-install na yung mga beneficiary doon sa 5 hectares yata, ano?
Opo.
Doon, February pa na-install na sila at supposed to be, nung February pa ay kinukontribute na ng mga task force mapalad member yung inaward sa kanila na lupa. Sa panahon na nandoon yung dalawang pwersa, yung Armed Forces of the Philippines, yung Army, saka yung RMG, mas malaki na kami na pwersa sana, yun yung panahon dapat pumasok at mag-contribute ngayong mga task force mapalad. Ngayon, nag-withdraw na yung Army at mga ilang RMG lang na natira bago pa sila pumasok. So, yung alanganin na security ba?
Opo.
Pumasok sila, alanganin security at yung pag-analyze ba na kung ganito gagawin natin, ano kaya ang maging reaksyon sa panahon na ito lang ang pwersa ng RMJ. Perfect na yata yun, 11. Maliit na lang.
Mr. Propongo, medyo puputulin na lang ho natin pero kahit na isang tanong muna, mabilis lang ho sana yung sagot ninyo. No? Sila bagong halal na Congressman Pablo Garcia, tila kumakatawan doon sa mga sugar farmers, lalong-lalo na dyan sa Negros. Sila mismo yung nangunguna para tutulan yung pagsakop ng CAR sa mga sugar lands dyan sa Negros. So, paano ho kaya nyo masusolusyonan yan?
May desisyon na yata ang Supreme Court na dinismiss yung kaso nila.
Opo.
At, pero ang mga civil society, lalo na yung mga ay talagang porsigido na ipagpatuloy itong pakikibaka para sa reformang agraryo.
Okay. Mr. Bob Propongo ng Presidential Agrarian Reform Council. Maraming salamat po. Maraming salamat.
Salamat po niyo sa iyo.
All right. Back to our guest here in the studio, photojournalist Jimmy Domingo. Well, you said you've been following this story, the saga of Hacienda Veles Malaga. Yes. What's happening now is even if the government itself, through the president, trying to mediate between the landowner, Mr. Cuenca, and the task force Mapalad farmers, it seems as though the landowners are getting their way, even with the law legally, clearly behind the farmers.
Yeah, that's very puzzling also to me, because I've read papers already in preparation for the documentary that I am doing, and it's very clear that I think the farmers have all the legal right up to the Supreme Court already. There are rulings already, so I don't understand why the farmers can't physically own the land, can't physically go to the land and start planting.
Because they don't have the weapons to also enforce their rights.
Maybe, yes. And also, last March, we went there when Secretary Pangandaman, I think, promised that he will go there and install them. I think the landowner mobilized much more people to counter the installation.
Jimmy,
So, yeah.
Jimmy, last week when we talked to Secretary Lito Coscoluela, and he gave this dire prediction that somehow even the Department of Agrarian Reform objected to. He's saying that if, in fact, Mr. Cuenca refuses to acknowledge all of the legal remedies that have already been resorted to by the farmers, he continues to put up stumbling blocks to the resolution of this case. He expects more violence. Do you see that happening now after June 4th?
Yes, I think so, because the farmer beneficiaries in the sugar lands, which are highly contested areas in terms of the implementation of agrarian reform, of course, the farmer beneficiaries will also fight for their right for the land. So if there are resistance coming from as many sectors like the landlord sector and the farmer cooperatives that they are mobilizing, I think more violence will happen. And we pray that it will not, so that there will be peace in the countrysides as well.
Well, you'd better have your telephoto lenses ready by that
Yes,
time.
I will.
If it ever happens. Twink.
Yes.
Jimmy, thank you very much for joining us. It's been
Thank
a
you.
pleasure talking to you, and we hope to have you back again.
All right,
Thank you
and
so
good
much.
luck to you too.